I think, see, I think one advice, I don't know, so somehow, I think there were a few incidents because of which I got shaped up, like I was telling, right? So some of these things became clearer to me. So I think, and I also posted this on LinkedIn some time back because someone asked me this question, like, is there some advice you would give to our students who are probably like into the first year? So see, one thing I tell them, or I would also tell myself at that point in time is, it's okay to be confused, right? I think being clear about your long-term goals, short-term goals, I think that's very overrated. Finding your passion, I think these are statements that are very overrated. Somehow it's okay to be confused. I think what we need to do is, we need to be very clear about certain fundamentals that will help us take a certain decision. Right? We should not feel like, oh yeah, this guy is so sorted, and we all feel that way. Even I would have felt it by looking at some people who at least appear very sorted in life. So for me also, I would give the same advice to not feel confused. It's okay, I would say, go with the flow, but try to have some fundamentals. Right? To me, those fundamentals were very simple. The first fundamental to me was, uh, I think the first thing would be like live life 2 years at a time. Right? So that was the first fundamental to me. So I did not want to plan, and very typically how people ask, right, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, what will you do? I would ask those questions to myself, but I would live life only with 2 years at a time. Like that is what I do personally. I don't know whether it is right or not, but that is one fundamental I always stay very close to. Second, I stay very close to is I never want to get into a very lavish lifestyle, and that was one reason why I left McKinsey also very soon. When I was asked why are you leaving McKinsey so early, I told them like I don't want to get used to staying in Taj and ITC or traveling in business class. And let's say the jet was there at that point in time. I Once you get used to that, it's very difficult to go back. Once you have EMIs, once you have a certain style of living, it's very difficult to go back and rediscover and I would say reinvent that whole thing. So that is the second thing I always live by. Even right now, if you look at, I somehow do interviews where people tell that I have lakhs of EMIs per month to pay. So I at least need this much of, I would say, a job offer. See, what that does is it tries to pull you down in terms of taking risks or taking some part of your life to figure out things. So that is, I would say, the second thing which I would say look at as a fundamental process to guide me along the journey. And the third most important also is enjoy the journey, right? Like I told, I live 2 years at a, I would say for me, life is about living 2 years at a time. I try to enjoy the journey, right? Like very similar to, we have started this company. It's not like we are thinking how the exit will happen, what wealth creation will happen for us, etc., etc. See, those are important milestones. But then, are we enjoying the journey? Or are we just fretting over what probably is way too forward and not living the present? So that is very important, I think. So these are some fundamentals that I try to govern, and this is what I would probably tell myself. Maybe I think this has come to me, I would say, the past few years of trying to discover myself, my own strengths, and how I want to live probably and retire probably, and then go back to doing something very different. But this is how these things have shaped. So this is how I would go back to my younger self and tell.
And thank you for sharing this. I remember I'd asked you this thing when the first time we met in IT Kharagpur, and I asked you, Puneet, just out of curiosity, why did you leave McKinsey? So you told me I was in my comfort zone, and I was like, "Kya banda hai yaar, Taj us sab mein travel." And he told, "No, Aditya, these really spoil you." And I really appreciate that you are sharing these things because we are in such a materialistic driven society where the definition of success is based upon the brand, the number of air miles you have, the latest vehicle you have, but the definition. And it really creates a lot of mental, what should I say, pressure on us. So thank you for really sharing this because many people should know about this. Like you told that Aditya having a gold medal, I wasn't able to clear. And it takes a lot of courage to share all these things on a public forum. I really would like to thank you, Puneet, because it really is inspiring the people who are watching this and would be listening the recording session.